Modern Alchemy, episode number
16.
16. We are moving right along here, and this month we're talking about the alchemy of wealth. Now, we started off by attempting and hoping and praying that we could help you redefine what wealth really means. Most people think that wealth is money, and that's a part of wealth. But what does wealth really mean again? Well-being. And so there's a lot of people who have money who don't have wealth because they don't have a lot of well-being. Then last time, in our last episode, 15, we talked about your words are your wealth and how words are creative and powerful.
Yes, we did.
So let's talk about your thoughts. Your thoughts are your wealth, your well-being.
Yes.
So given that wealth is well-being, Bersabeh, and thoughts are your wealth, do you think a lot of people have wealth in their thoughts?
Ooh. No. I'll speak from my own experience, my own mind.
Your own mind.
And I know.
And what a mind it is.
Yeah.
So what kind of thoughts do most people have as a general rule in your experience? Or speak from your own mind if you don't mind.
Well, they're not very productive thoughts.
No.
They're mostly disempowering thoughts.
Yeah.
About yourself or about a situation.
And it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, positive psychology says that about 70% of what you've been programmed with is disempowering and self-limiting. Now, how do you create wealth with your thoughts? Well, here's one way. Neurosciences now prove that thoughts of gratitude and appreciation literally change your brain.
They do.
And
of gratitude
and appreciation. And they also change your body.
I can see that.
Talk about that. How can you see that? What are you seeing?
I see it clearly. Yeah, I mean,
they change your brain and body.
When you're thankful or grateful, it completely shifts your mood, your vibe.
It does.
Yeah, it puts you in a total different state.
And I'm sure you've experienced that.
Yeah.
And so, can thoughts of gratitude and appreciation bring more wealth equaling well-being?
Yes.
Certainly they can. Now, there's a lot of talk out there that thoughts create. You know, you are what you think, and what you think about comes about, and what you think about you become, and all these little things. And we really are here to ensure you that it's a little bit more than that, because thoughts don't create in and of themselves. They don't create. No. They start a chain of events, and that chain of events has to go all the way through to create. And that's really what alchemy is all about. It's about transmuting something of low value into something of high value. And so what has to happen, Bersabeh, for the creative process to occur? Thoughts might kick it off, but then what?
Well, it's your feelings. Mm-hmm. Thoughts without feelings are just empty airspace. You're like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, thoughts are basically directional devices. They send you in a certain direction, kind of like the steering wheel in your car, but they're not going to take you there. You know, what we suggest is you have to go 3 for 3. Your thoughts, feelings
and
actions have to be in alignment. And when those are in alignment, then you can create something new, better, or different. Do you know from the magic traditions, which, by the way, I know magic is a little unusual term for some people, but here's how we define magic: the ability to create willful change in the fabric of your universe, both spiritually and materially. So if that's what magic really is, wouldn't you agree that you'd like to have more magic in your life? And so in the alchemical, which are magical traditions, do you know there's 2 qualities that they say are most important to be a magician, if you will? Do you remember what those are? Come on, you got this.
One is will. Isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Willpower. And what's the first one?
Willpower. Man, how do I not know this?
Imagination.
Oh,
Imagination.
guess that.
And that's part of the thinking process, to use your image making faculty, your conscious mind,
Yeah.
which thinks in pictures. Your imagination and your willpower will take you through to magic. So let me ask you to consider this question. Do you tend to focus on what's there or what's not there?
Mostly what's not there.
Is that you confessing, or your
Well,
observation?
I used to think that way.
You used to, and you've changed now.
I'm doing my best.
She's saved. She's become saved, and so
doing my best.
doing her best, and she's doing quite well. You know, Martin Seligman, who's the father of modern positive psychology, wrote a book called Learned Optimism, and it's based upon years of research that he conducted on what it means to be an optimist. And what he suggests is that you can learn to be an optimist. And why would you want to do this? Because here's what Seligman's research tells us. Optimists live about 15% longer
Oh, I can see that.
than pessimists do.
No way.
Why are you making fun? Why do you think that's so obvious?
Well, because I mean, when you're a pessimist, everything is wrong, and then even if everything is, let's say it's perfect, they will find something wrong. They'll be like,
Yeah.
the corner of that carpet is stained, and you're like, you have the whole house.
Yeah. I had an old girlfriend who brought her dad over to the house once. Her family came over to visit.
Oh yeah.
This was long before Bersabeh. And, I had an impeccable home, and he said, James, you really have a nice, clean house. It's very tidy. I said, thank you. He said, but there's a cobweb right up there in the corner. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So,
They're fun.
you know what else that optimism brings us?
What's that?
35% less heart disease. And this is based upon Martin Seligman, PhD's research on optimism. 35% less heart disease.
That's pretty awesome.
Now, that makes sense, because when everything is wrong and you're looking at all the things that aren't there, imagine what that does to your heart. 30% less coronary deaths if you're an optimist.
Oui.
So, besides that, optimism, let's come off of the really strong and come back to day to day. That can prevent depression. It can increase social connections.
Oh, yeah.
You ever hung around with an energy vampire? They just suck the lifeblood right out of you. You know, you ask them how it's going, and they tell you, and then you wish you hadn't have asked.
Well, that's not the bad part.
What's the bad part?
The bad part is that everything is a complaint.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So optimism can increase social connection because you're just nicer to be around. It can boost performance on the job. It can increase success. All of this is based upon Seligman's work, and make you more resilient in the face of setbacks. And boy, don't we need that resilience in today's world. In the setbacks and the challenges that we're dealing with. So let's give you one more thing before we sign off for today, with regard to your thoughts being wealth, to being a true alchemist, to turn low energy things into high energy things. In the alchemical traditions, in the magical traditions, there are 43 laws of magic. And we're not going to cover all 43 today for obvious reasons, but one of those laws of magic states that any polarity, so any up, down, any good, bad, any polarity can be utilized to create its opposite.
True.
And that's mental alchemy.
Yes.
And it takes discipline, and it takes energy, and it takes effort. But I'll tell you, it's well worth it. So if you're facing challenges, if things are difficult, if the world feels a little disruptive, the more challenging it is, the more difficult it is, the more disruptive it is, the greater the opportunity to transmute that into something that is meaningful, valuable, and of high regard.
Yes.
So we're going to challenge you to do that. Thank you so much for a couple of moments of your day and for tuning in. And until we see you next week, God bless.
Bye.
Lots of love.